Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday, and buckle in, bitches. It's going to be a long night, and I'm here with you for the duration. It is debate night, and for a political junkie like myself, it doesn't get any bigger than this. And boy howdy, we got Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. I called it the geriatric joust earlier. It's going to be wild. Now, I personally think Joe Biden might do a really good job. And apparently, I'm not the only person that thinks Joe Biden could possibly do a good job. Don't be fooled by his gaffes. He is a seasoned and feisty debater. Donald Trump said in 2012, there literally is a tweet for everything. But we got way more than just the debate tonight on the show. We got breaking news in the Breonna Taylor case. We've got video of Trump's ex-campaign manager getting arrested, and that is fantastic. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. But first, you know how we start the show. It is Reefer and a Rant. I'm going to keep today's rant short since we are so jam-packed tonight. But today's rant is about the people that want to say, love it or leave it. You can choose another country. Why do you have to criticize America? And boy, let me tell you, I'm surprised Thomas Jefferson hasn't risen from the grave to slap the fucking shit out of you for saying something that goddamn stupid. What if the founders of this country, instead of rebellion, they'd said, well, you can leave it. If you don't like the British, you can leave it. If you don't like the colonies, you can leave it. Motherfuckers. Trying to get situated. I took a night off last night because we had the special Troll Patrol over the weekend, and because I knew I was going to be going 3+ hours tonight, I figured I'd take Monday off and try to finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I did. If you've noticed I haven't been trolling lately, it is because I am in Facebook jail. So I actually cannot troll. It's one of the things I hate to be someone who is participating in false advertising here on the Troll Patrol. But I can't say shit. See, unable to post my comments. I don't even remember what I got put in Facebook jail for this time. It was something stupid that I should not be in Facebook jail for. Yeah, I don't even fucking remember this time. So that's the reason why. It's all about the ripping and the tearing, boy. Oh, we've got Poop Boy in here. Oh my God, what's up, Poop Boy? You gonna call in? If you've got the balls tonight, I'll go ahead and open up the phone lines, 917-830-4359. Are we going to hear from Poop Boy? Somebody been trying to call in. All this afternoon, they've been trying to get a hold of me. Holy shit. Okay, Poop Boy. Come on, give us a call. He didn't leave a message, though. There you are. Are you coming? You gonna give us a ring? 917-830-4359. You have went to a lot of trouble. Apparently, you have a lot to say, even though you've said fucking nothing in about 3,000 messages. And how many profiles have you created now? God damn, dude. You called me triggered. Call in and talk to us, Poop Boy. 917-830-4359. I dare you. That's what the people want, man. Please give it to them. Please give it to them. If not, I got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. Tell him, Creed Dally. I don't even know where to start with this Breonna Taylor case. So we actually have all sorts of developments. First of all, one of the grand jurors has come out and said that he would like the tapes to be released because he says they don't match up. He's made the accusation that they were never even presented with the opportunity to indict the two cops. So we'll look at that here in just a second, but we have brand new body cam footage released from the night of. So now this is apparently, it was leaked to Vice News.
I think it's casing for them. Sorry. Like if you're all casings and they're casing.
Now what's going on here is this is Hankinson to the left. Harkinson? I think I'd been calling him Harkinson, but it's Hankinson. Officer Hankinson to the left here. Now he's already been involved in a shooting. Standard operating procedure says that he needs to get the fuck out. And you actually hear the officer on the scene tell him to go back out until the public integrity unit arrives. Because what they are on the scene of is a fucking crime scene. And he may be one of the perpetrators, so he needs to get his ass out of the apartment. But he does not do that.
Sorry. Like if you're all casings and they're casing. So.
Oh, that's their gun. Right here.
Dude, everyone knows I got a bald spot. That's... I mean, it's not like it's some revelation, man. Like, you're not breaking ground here, dude. If that's the best you got, man, you are fucking pathetic. But hey, what do you expect? Because right-wingers are morons. That's right, it's everyone's favorite drinking game. And since this is debate night, it's very likely that I'm going to say it many, many, many times. That's exactly what he's doing. He's attempting to tamper with evidence, and one of the things that he asks about in the video is the ballistics casings on the ground.
Yeah, one right there.
That's theirs?
No, that's ours. It looks like theirs is in there. But I'd back out until they get PIU in here.
He says, I'd back out until they get PIU in here, the public integrity unit.
So.
I just didn't know if there were any guns visible.
We did not see any.
Not too long ago.
Now he's asking about, are there any guns visible? He was clearly trying to tamper with evidence. And now the other thing that's come out is that the SWAT team that night actually expressed concerns with the raid. So the SWAT team that backed them up, the SWAT members...
Open laptop, get to work. Oh.
Expressed concern before and after the raid.
Kiddo's hungry.
Taylor's home.
Take her a snack.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is up with this ad?
Another online meeting.
It does not want to let me turn the volume off.
Turn off video.
All
Get to
right,
cleaning.
ad. We'll
While the
deal
little
with
one
it.
naps,
we
finally
wanna see
have a
what's up
second
with
to
the
check
SWAT
my
team.
spending insights on the City Mobile app and realize I can afford to
do
create the
not
perfect home
endorse City
office.
Mobile.
She's up.
Fuck City Mobile.
One more work email. Play
them.
peekaboo.
We're ready when you're ready. Learn more at city.com/ready.
Especially fuck Citibank.
Vice News says the audio is part of Metro Police's PIU investigation. During the May 19th interview, a man who identifies himself as SWAT Commander Lieutenant Dale Massey talks about the planning leading up to the warrants served on March 13th, including at Breonna Taylor's apartment.
They had a meeting.
Now remember, we've already gone over the fact that they cited the postal inspector, and that the postal inspector has said they lied. They lied to obtain that warrant. Everything is fishy.
About a month prior, and they brought up multiple locations, and our guys advised them, hey, we need to take this slower. You know, we're not going to do 8 warrants in one night.
During the interview, Massey says his unit was assigned to 2 homes on Elliott Avenue, and he says he had no idea other warrants were being executed at the same time, including at Taylor's home on Springfield Drive.
At no point did I ever hear the word Springfield mentioned in the briefing. Someone else may have. I never heard it. It was never said that, hey, we're doing any other warrants.
Massey heard the calls of shots fired at the Springfield location over the scanners.
And on our SWAT 1 channel, we hear shots fired. So we're like, wait a second, shots fired?
Look at all the bullets.
Is everybody good?
His unit drove from Elliott Avenue to Taylor's apartment.
And we pulled the barricade up pretty much to the one side of the apartment, the driver's side door. And I see to my right a row of police cars, and what I would have to guess would be 20 officers with long guns pointed directly at the door, the sliding glass door.
Once he arrived, Massey says Detective Miles Cosgrove, one of the officers involved in the shooting, briefed him on what happened. He didn't learn until later from someone at the scene that Cosgrove had been involved.
I was like, man, get him out of the mix, because he was still in the mix doing stuff. I was like, get him separated from everybody.
Was he removed from the scene?
I don't think so.
Massey said former Detective Brett Hankinson was also roaming around the area after the shooting.
Okay, maybe I was right. I don't know. I'm sorry. That was confusing.
He also pointed out that it appeared to be curtains or blinds blocking the view from the sliding glass doors, where Hankinson fired his weapon.
I mean, from our perspective, if that's in fact what happened, I mean, if other details come to light, it is what it is. But it's just, it seemed like that there's no target identification whatsoever for those rounds that were shot outside the apartment.
Shaquille Lord, WLK.
So there you have it. Like, and that's not the only thing. So everything that happened that night, improper. But not only that, but the investigation into it has been completely improper. So here we actually have the document from where one of the grand jurors has filed for the release of the tapes in the grand jury investigation. So several things that they cite was that there were multiple witnesses that claimed that the police never announced themselves. One of the things that this depended on was that in order for Kenneth Walker to not be able to claim self-defense, he would have had to have known that it was cops. But the cops didn't announce themselves. It was a no-knock warrant. But the cops said, oh, but we did announce ourselves. Even though every witness said they didn't, but one changed his story. And that was the one that was presented to the grand jury. Dude, are you going to call in and talk to us, or are you just going to, like, muck up my comment section with stupid shit? Everybody's fucking laughing at you, dude. Right-winger communist. Fuck, man. These people are morons. But what this order is about is that grand jury proceedings are secret. And they want to be able to make sure that they aren't facing any repercussions for speaking out. And what they've alleged is that they were never presented with the evidence that they could indict the 2 cops on homicide, reckless homicide, manslaughter, whatever the charges may be. Those were never presented to the grand jury, even though Attorney General Cameron said that he did in the press conference. So in the interest of public interest, Jason, man, I know his real name. It'd take me a second to find it. I hate to derelish the show, man. I wish I'd sent you his profile so I could be like, hey, Jason, say his name. I've got his picture, though. I was going to Photoshop something into it, and I just didn't get the chance. Look, this is the little piss ant that's calling me names. This is Poop Boy, or Doc Holiday here in the chat. Daniel, Jason, blah, 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 blah. This is like 4 fucking names, like some little fucking incel bitch. I know, right? Oh, fuck. It's like, what? Like, this is like his, like, going to the homecoming dance or something. Did you even have a date, motherfucker? Oh, fuck. I don't even know where this little bitch popped in from. No fucking clue. He called me a communist. He doesn't know what the fucking word means. But hey, right-wingers are morons, so what the fuck would you expect? It's okay, dude. You'll grow out of your dumb fuck beliefs. I did. He looks like he could be, man. But you got some nice hair, brother. I'll trade hair with you. I mean, it's true. I wish I had your hairline. I mean, if you really want to see my bald spot. Woo! I really don't care. I mean, it's not like there's not pictures of me without a bandana on all over my profile. God damn, Whitney, that was funny. I'll give you that. I fucking love the shit out of you. You just fucking want to aggravate me all day. Hey, it's cool. You want to troll the troll. I know. I can't help myself but troll back. So that's why I need you to show some fucking restraint. Because I ain't got time for this shit. Oh, fuck me. I've got to try and pay attention to time because I don't have all the time in the world tonight because we gotta get on the debate. And I actually have a whole show planned out. This bitch. He's thanking me for the content. Like, this dude is fucking hilarious. He thought he owned me by sending like 3,000 messages to me. I haven't had notifications for messages turned on in years. Like, I just look at my phone and see I had 3,000 messages. And I'm like, okay, you wasted your time. And then he's telling me thanks for the content when he's the one commenting on my content. These are galaxy brain motherfuckers, guys. God damn. Right-wingers are morons. And if you are playing the drinking game, I am sorry. You're gonna be a drunk motherfucker tonight. So, these motherfuckers over in West Monroe, Louisiana, they had a cop that died in a single car crash after he was told he would be fired for his role in the death of a black man. But they buried him with fucking honors. So he was going to be fired, was not going to be a cop anymore. Motherfucker probably got drunk, went out and fucking raced his fucking car down the road. And then they kept it quiet that they were giving him honors for, you know, rightfully expecting that it would get protested. Cops are just fucking full of shit. They're more full of shit than Poop Boy. But hey, if you watch the show regularly, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And it's quite clear that one of the biggest problems in America is right-wing militia groups.
Our number one priority here is to have a safe.
And something that should scare the absolute fuck out of you is the fact that right-wing militia groups like the Proud Boys have been colluding with local law enforcement agencies, sheriff departments, and such to terrorize protesters. God, I saw it right before it went on the air. I need to dig it up. There is actually a video of the Proud Boys beating the fuck out of somebody. I think he was a journalist. I think I saw it. I think I might have saw it on the Majority Report. Yeah. Proud Boys seen in video attacking protester with bat at Oregon rally. These are the violent motherfuckers. Right-wingers will always tell you about violent Antifa coming to their town and shit.
Shut the fuck up! Get up, you fucking pussy! Here, I'll take that.
Holy shit! Take a shot! That's for everything that you fucking did to me, bitch! Told you I'd get you! I'm sorry! Let's go!
That's why the FBI says that the number one terrorist threat in this country is from right-wing militia groups. And they're so well organized that they're fucking holding press conferences now.
Safe event, right? And how do we do that? We communicate with local law enforcement. And again, like Big said, it's crazy that it takes us to come here. So two things that we've accomplished since we got here.
And what was our one goal day one on our first conversation? That our presence would get them to bring in the National Guard, to declare a state of emergency.
Oh wow, your terrorist ass presence will get them to bring in the National Guard. Nah shit. But that's what they want. They want to continue this narrative that the protests are violent, that cities are burning down, that shit's unsafe. They're full of shit.
And restore law and order. And here we go.
And here we go. That's one. Our second goal, and we saw that yesterday with the sheriff's office, their refusal to use CS gas on these violent domestic terrorists is the reason why they didn't want to come.
CS gas on civilians is a war crime. These are the terrorists. Police are the terrorists. What's Chris Christie saying? What's he on live for? God damn it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Because I'm using a browser that is not mine. The article I was looking for didn't come up. White supremacists and militias have infiltrated police across the U.S. Chris Christie used to be entertaining once upon a time. You saw it. You saw the fucking Proud Boys acting like they had total carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they wanted. Because they do. They've infiltrated law enforcement. And this is why people fucking don't trust the cops anymore. But you get stupid ass motherfuckers like Charles Barkley running their mouths. But I'm glad Charles got put in his place. I'm happy to share it with you.
Like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that.
Erica, you sighed when you heard him say that.
Now, we went over it. We went over all the reasons why the Breonna Taylor case is bullshit, that it is 100% a cover-up. But Charles Barkley wanted to run his mouth this fucking weekend.
What's going through your mind? It's like, what the hell, Chuck? Honestly. I mean, we already have a situation where an innocent black woman was killed in her home.
Okay, I don't know who this woman is. Her name is Aldorna Niles. I'd never heard of her before I saw this clip. I love this woman. She's a badass.
And it's being made a mockery of by our justice system. This woman receives zero justice and is basically telling every black woman in America that we do not matter. The last thing I want to see is a black man on television putting more gasoline on this fire to talk about what happened with her boyfriend who was protecting his home and his queen with a legal firearm. As someone who owns a legal firearm responsibly, I can tell you, one of the first things they tell you is about proximity. And if someone has bulldozed their way into your home, and keep in mind this, there were 12 witnesses. 11 of them said they never heard the police announce themselves. Only one person said that they heard the police announce themselves, and they were put in front of the grand jury.
And they changed their story. They originally said that they didn't hear the police announce themselves.
So let's just add that to a little piece because that's very important. But proximity is extremely important when we're having this conversation, because if you want to bring up the fact that Kenneth Walker shot at the police, then you also have to bring up the fact that they were living in an apartment where 10 feet to someone commandeering you and your gun goes like that. So he did the exact right thing to do. So for you to bring that up in this conversation is super irresponsible, and I'm very disappointed because I sat for the first hours of quarantine and watched Shack Life, which then went into Charles Barkley TNT special about race in America, to understand the nuance behind what your thinking process was. But clearly, sir, you learned nothing from these people and their experiences that you were trying to understand a little bit better. If I were you, I would have taken either a moment of silence to not further insult and diminish the name of Breonna Taylor and this entire case, which has already been completely insulted and diminished. I would have taken a page from your colleague, Kenny Smith, and stood with the moment, not take something and twist a moment into something that it shouldn't be, because at this point, it's very hurtful, and it really reads very OJ, I'm not black, I'm OJ Simpson. Erica. Powerful.
Ooh, that face.
Sam, I am so done with this. Let's just talk about it. We can talk about it, but why are we going to talk about it like this? You know what this moment doesn't need? It didn't need that commentary. It didn't need that back and forth to imply that Kenny Walker did something wrong. He did nothing wrong. And if someone busted into your home, I assure you, if you had a legal firearm and you were trained to use it, then you would go directly into how to do so. And I know that for a fact because someone did bust in my home when I was there, and I needed to understand that information. So every time somebody wants to have that conversation and people want to have stand your ground, but only for this person and not for that person, just remember that. Just remember that and be responsible about what you say.
Yeah, Erica, I'm glad that you're taking the opportunity to be real and being vulnerable.
God damn, was she being real? I tried to find the original version of that clip, and I couldn't. I'm sorry, but like I had to play that. That was fucking badass. I'd love to know what Charles's response was to that. She called him Chuck. Chuck. She may know him. They may be friends and everything. She calls him Chuck. But she said it was like just this fucking like. She was ill in her voice, as they like to say. I ate it up. And clearly, after all the stories about the cops and everything, that's what I wanted to do. Now, I had a right-winger the other day argue with me about race in America, talking about systematic racism, as if we don't already see it from the way the cops behave and the extent that they have gone to try to cover up murdering a black woman and not holding the assholes accountable that murdered her. But here's the Trump campaign trying to deter millions of black Americans from voting in 2016. They were targeted with a deterrence campaign. They wanted to disenfranchise them just so they would stay home. Now, the thing about this is all political campaigns are using data to wage these, to try to target specific types of voters. And that's one of the reasons why in 2016 you saw the Clinton campaign behave the way they did. They were relying heavily on this set of data, and they wanted to appeal to a certain type of voter, a more affluent suburban voter, which actually broke towards Trump. They were trying to pill off Republicans. Because that's the way, if you're a Democrat, you try to win an election by appealing to Republicans, and then you don't have to do any progressive policy that'll piss off your big budget donors. That's what they're talking about when they're swing voters. They're talking about Republicans that are disgusted with their party and the bigotry and shit. They think they can peel enough of those people off in order to win election and not fundamentally do anything to empower the working class, unions, teachers. I'm for public financing of campaigns and very limited money to be able to spend in a certain way. Limiting the campaign, like, the campaign should start in September. You should have a primary April, May for the two parties. You have the convention in August. The campaign, you can't actually start campaigning, buying ads, putting out ground game, shit like that. Can't do that until September. Other countries do that, and like even in Britain, like I think they have a month for their campaigns, 6 weeks. I might be wrong on the time frame, but there's just a specific time frame to be able to campaign, and I think we desperately need that in this country, because we're not going to see a lot of reform when there's such a gravy train of media, consultants, lawyers that just make money off of this whole election cycle bullshit all the time. So in order to get real meaningful change, we have to do something to limit that influence of money. Not just in the lobbying for bills in Washington, but in the campaign system. Because that's legalized bribery, absolutely. Alright guys, so this is the first time I am watching this video. I saved it to specifically watch with you guys on the show. It's only a minute 40, so I can't imagine that we're going to have I might have to go find the whole thing. But this is Project Veritas. If you are not familiar with Project Veritas, virtually every video they have ever released as a gotcha has turned out to be like flagrantly misleading. I think the very first one that they did was back probably around 2009, 2010. They did the whole Acorn thing where they sent a guy dressed up like a pimp into an Acorn office to try to get loans. They laughed him out of the fucking building. They edited it because, like, they kind of played around with him and were mocking him and shit. So, like, they edited it to make it seem like they were serious. But, like, you watch the full video, they're fucking mocking the guy. Like, Acorn got completely defunded because of that shit. Because of fucking false information from stupid-ass right-wingers. And they're awash with it. Oh, my God, when I argue with these dumb motherfuckers, like, you have to explain to them what's true before you can ever actually have a conversation about policy, because they don't actually know facts about anything because they've been watching shit like Project Veritas. Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe has served prison time for fraud. He tried to wiretap a senator's office. So the fact that anyone would even take a Project Veritas video seriously is just an insult to anybody with any kind of intelligence. That's why I just break down and say right-wingers are morons. But hey, let's watch the video. Let's see what they think that they've got. You ain't called? I've been sitting here waiting for you to call. I'm going to answer the phone if you will call. 917-830-4359. I'm going to sit here and watch the screen. Give us a call, Doc. Come on, poop boy. We want to know what you sound like. We're dying. I've got a jam-packed show. I got a jam-packed show, man. Come on, call in for us. Call in. We want to talk to you. I got so much other shit to do, and we got the debate in like 23 minutes. Because we still got to get to Joe Biden calling the troops stupid bastards. That's going to be a fun video. Because you know I love ragging on Joe Biden. Fuck, come on, dude, call in. Poop boy, I'm dying here. Come on, call in. Call in. I want to hear from you. Ilhan Omar is a badass. So I can't imagine that she actually did anything wrong. I just think they're trying to attack her because she's a badass. Oh, I'm sure it's an absolute hit job. I just wanted to watch the video for myself. Come on, poop boy. He said if I'll answer, he'll go away. I've been waiting on him to call. Holy shit. I want it so bad. Call me, motherfucker. Answer what? Call me. Answer the phone. Is that what you're talking about? Please call in. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what got your panties in a wad so fucking bad that you had to send me 3,000 messages and make several accounts to message me. And the funny part is like, I don't know why you had to make so many accounts. I didn't report you or block you or anything, other than the one where you said you were Justin Mullins. I reported that for pretending to be me. Other than that, I'll let you fucking go, dude. I don't give a shit. Won't let you use my name, though. Yeah, we all want to know what you sound like. We know what you look like. Do I need to put the picture back up? Come on, buddy. Yes, please call me. 917-830-4359. Please give me a call. I would love to talk to you. I'm waiting, Albert. Daniel James Bateman. Come on, Daniel James Bateman. Give us a call, brother. We want to talk to you, Daniel. We really want to talk to you. We've been dying to talk to you. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol live. What the fuck is up? Are you jacking off to me? Daniel, man, come on, talk to us. Jesus Christ, that's what I get for trying to let a kid fucking have a platform. I'm glad you watch my show and whack off. I don't blame you. I'm a sexy beast. Daniel James Bateman, I'm sorry you got no balls. If anybody else would like to call in, though, 917-830-4359. I take all callers. Hey, Whitney, don't you think I have him right where I want him, commenting on all my shit and giving it fucking, what do you call it? Social media, when you fucking comment on shit, it fucking pushes it to the top and stuff. Don't you think that I've got him right where I want him? Goddamn. Alright, Project Veritas. A bombshell reports.
numbers don't lie waa ujeedaan gaarigaygu waa buuxaa waxaas waa absent ballot salka yaala soo ma jeedin fiiri waxaas oo dhan soo ma jeedin waa buuxaa gaarigayga waa buuxa yaala.
Oh, so they think they got a video of some dude just running down going, look at all these absentee ballots. Can't you see? My caller is full of them. I believe that. Some dude was knowingly committing ballot harvesting, was just running around yelling about it. This smells fake as fuck. And who is this random fucking dude in the car?
It's all.
They're spotted carrying bags of money, and I bet the bags of money have dollar signs in green on the outside of them. This is fucking cartoonishly dumb.
Seniors, and they took every ballot.
Every ballot. They just take them from them.
Every single ballot. They knock on the door and say, your ballots, come give it to me, give it to me.
They don't even pay them for it. They just take it.
No. And the ones that didn't vote on ballots, the young people and the women and stuff, they were paying cash. They were carrying bags of money the last time.
Who's this woman?
To drive people. And when you vote and they mark you off, then you get.
Doesn't even say who she worked for.
Then they give you a cash.
Hold on. So this is supposed to be this fucking amazing journalistic organization, and their email is protonmail.com. You couldn't just use a fucking Gmail? Shit, if you go to mail.com, you can get like anything. Like I have at contractor.net, and I have it like at talkshowhost.net. I got all kinds of shit like that. Smokey trying to be part of the show. We got Smokey 2020 shirts coming very soon, but you can get your Troll Patrol Right Wingers or Moron shirt from the FREAKIN shop at the link right down below. This just all smells of bullshit. This is just like that motherfucker walking in dressed like a pimp. And he was, when I say dressed like a pimp, I mean, he went to a Halloween shop and got the Halloween pimp costume. Like, this dude is just stupid, outlandish. This is the guy we're talking about here. I'm supposed to take this motherfucker who went to jail for trying to wiretap a senator's phone seriously. It's all about just putting out whatever the fuck, because in right-wing circles, they'll just believe anything that backs up their already held beliefs. So it doesn't matter that this video is not true. They'll share it out. I've seen it already. All right, we're getting really close to the debate, so we gotta blow through some of these real fast. So the big story over the weekend was the New York Times breaking the story about Trump's taxes.
People don't understand what goes into a business. It doesn't.
Now this has been the excuse I've heard from all the different right wingers thus far.
Historical tax credits. That's the reality. People don't understand what goes into a business. It doesn't include property taxes. It doesn't include payroll taxes. It doesn't include real estate taxes. It doesn't include so many of the things that he's been paying taxes on forever, as he's also putting thousands and thousands of people to work on an annual basis. But of course, the New York Times does this. They put out a selective
all the fucking
picture
time.
of all of these things the day before a debate to try to give someone like Joe Biden.
I don't know when the last time he had a new construction project was.
And that's the game.
And that's the game. Your dad's a fucking fraud. That's all there is to it. They were carrying bags of money. The fucking Trump administration has been carrying bags of money out of the Treasury. I know I'm skipping right over his taxes. Everybody that's listening to this is worth more than Donald Trump. I know it seems like it's such a huge story, and it's really not, just because we've all known he's a fucking fraud. We've all known I've said he was broke multiple times. And it's even, there was a court case just a couple of years ago where the judge said he may be worth 300, 400 million if he's not encumbered by debt. And he most certainly is. But the thing that he constantly is valuing that he thinks makes him rich is his name. He values his fucking name and branding as fucking I can't even remember what it was. Millions and millions. And he might be right to an extent, God. A lot of people don't know that a lot of shit with Trump on it isn't actually owned or built by Trump. He just licensed his fucking name. And that's why I had a motherfucker arguing with me earlier. It was like, oh, Trump owns so much blah, blah, blah stuff. He doesn't really. He licensed his name to be on a bunch of buildings. He does own a few things. A bunch of failing golf courses. Exactly. Man, how a fucking New York con man convinced the heart of America that he was for the common man. I'll never fucking understand. And hey, I got a lot of problems with Joe Biden, but he actually fucking rode the Amtrak for 40 years. And like the fucking conductor on the Amtrak said he's one of the nicest guys. So at this point, I'll take that. I'll take like he's a fucking nice guy to people. I'll take that over the fucking monster that we have right now. And then I'll fight the fucking nice guy for the next 4 years for progressive values. I know, how anyone can even possibly think he is anything but a con man is beyond me. But hey, right-wingers are morons, so plenty of suckers out there. Like Poop Boy. He'll scream commie at me all day long. Doesn't realize he's frog marching right down to fucking fascism. Idiots. So, this is an interesting development. Now, as we've covered on this show in the past, there have been multiple whistleblowers come forward for multiple reasons. This one has to do with our intelligence agencies. That apparently there's an official in the Department of Homeland Security that's wanting to come forward with a whistleblower complaint, and the department is blocking him. And this is exactly how the Ukraine scandal panned out. Whistleblower came forward. Pooh boy, I'm not going to answer for you, man. You're full of shit. So a whistleblower came forward and had to tell Schiff because his department head wasn't doing anything about it. I think he even went to the Inspector General. And this was Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. And we remember what happened to him, right? We need more democracy. That's all there is to it. The things I prescribe for elections to take the money out. This is a conversation for another time because we need to watch Joe Biden call some troops stupid bad. Oh fuck! We need to watch Brad Parscale get arrested. Hold on. The debate's getting ready to start here in just a little bit. It's probably going to start at like 8:15 or something like that, but we're going to pick up coverage at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm sure. So this is
my turn to make dinner. Recipe says she's going to love it. While everything cooks, sign up for a checking account that actually earns interest. Remove from oven.
I can't do anything about it. I can't eat it.
We're ready when you're ready. Learn more at city.com/ready.
I need a producer for this show so people can yank this shit and have it ready for me and play it when I say so. So this is Trump's former campaign manager, and when I say former campaign manager, I mean 3 or 4 months ago. He was just Trump's campaign manager. I think the reason he was actually fired was the whole snafu over where the RNC was going to take place. Because if you remember, it was originally scheduled for Charlotte, and then they said they were going to move it to Florida and still have a gigantic crowd. And there was a whole fucking fiasco over that. I think that was the reason they fired him, but the Trump campaign hasn't been in very good shape, and if you'll remember, we did the story about like they wasted $137 million on just complete bullshit. The Trump campaign isn't doing well financially right now, and the Biden campaign is. That's one thing Biden has going for him going into the final stretch. But this was his campaign manager until just a couple of months ago. He was fired, and he's been having a psychotic break. His wife called the cops. Apparently, he's in a mental hospital at the moment. And this is him being taken into custody.
So, she started saying all this shit.
Apparently, she was black-eyed, beaten or something like that.
Jesus. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
It's acting crazy, and so I went outside to the backyard and let him just like show up. And he was just like going irate. And he's like,
now, this is the first time this motherfucker has been violent. We know for a fact because like he punched a reporter or elbowed a reporter during the RNC in 2016.
Came out of his office, cocked a gun.
You got a lot of guns in the house?
I think we have like 4 or 5 of them. 4 or 5. Yeah.
10. They had 10. They confiscated 10 guns from his house.
Handguns, like rifles like that, or a lot of handguns?
He has a shotgun and he has a rifle. He has a Glock.
Right.
And so after he did that, I was like,
He's got a lot of penis
he's
toys.
he's really getting out of control. So I went to the front yard, and I was just sitting in the front yard, just like trying to chill out for a second. And so then I saw him like open the blinds in the front yard, and then he closed them, and then I heard what I thought was a gunshot.
Hello, Brad. How you doing, sir? Hey, I got him on. Hey, Brad, can you come outside with no weapons, please?
Okay, we're ready for 25 with this subject.
Sir, can you just come step out of the house?
Okay, come out here. That's fine.
I'm your friend.
All right, relax.
She fucking.
Let's finish it. Don't. I'm not doing anything. Relax. What happened?
Do you have a beer in his hand?
She started
Look like
saying
Miller Lite?
all this shit.
Hey, get on the ground, man. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground, man.
Now, what, I wonder, he was calm as shit. I wonder why they tackled him. Now, I'm not saying I'm not happy they tackled him, but why? Technically, I would think that you wouldn't do that.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
I mean, I watch cop videos all the time, and I'm like, they shouldn't be doing that, so I'm going to be like, that looked like excessive force, but I also don't know what they know, and clearly he had 10 guns in the house, and his wife had claimed that he'd been violent and had a gun on him, so...
I didn't do anything.
Stay out. Put hands behind back. Put hands behind back. Hey, we'll figure it all out, right?
But he got the courtesy of a phone call. Hey, Brad, come out here without any guns.
We're going to get you out the guard in just a second, okay? Okay, all right. Relax. On this side. Here you go. Any weapons on you or anything like that?
Oh, wait, I didn't have any weapons. I didn't do anything.
We're going to get you off the ground, boys. Bring your knees. Okay. You're okay. Ready? Help us out. We're going to pick you up, all right? One is your legs.
Okay, yes, I'll get up. Okay, good.
Okay, I really want to do the Joe Biden clap you stupid bastards video, but we are running out of time. Because we are getting ready to go. Looks like we're starting in 6 minutes. Let's go ahead. I really want to play this video. So there's the Trump family walking in.
As soon as this debate is over, if you...
This countdown says 6 minutes and 22 seconds. So let's do this. Real fast. We're going to watch 18 seconds.
And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Now, it looked all choppy and shit. It looks like it looks like Trump posted that. It looks all choppy and shit. He actually said that. And we're going to go into what I have the full fucking video. And we're going to talk about it. We got so much to talk about. That's why I can't do it tonight. But that's the video. Clap for that, you stupid bastards, he said to the troops. Cuz it's Joe Biden. He's fucking hilarious. Why do I not have audio on Chris Wallace here? Now I'm probably going to put it on the big TV, so you'll see the screen change a little bit. I watch this shit on the big screen. We don't have audio. I don't know if that's a C-SPAN thing or a me thing. Huh. Yeah, fuck Tucker. What are we talking about Tucker? This is Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace, all right.
Anything like that. The problem is that
fucking Bill O'Reilly. Oh, C-SPAN doesn't have audio, so we're gonna go over here. This is what we were watching the other night when we were doing the.
I just cut him off. That's part of my charm.
Justice is Bill O'Reilly on right
Wallace can't do
side
that.
broadcasting.
So he can ask
network.
Trump, "What about COVID? What you did this, you did that," and Trump can go, "You know what?
I didn't know Bill O'Reilly had a
for
job."
2 minutes. Filibuster.
Hashtag
and Biden
Wallace,
can do the
all
same
right.
thing. You don't have to answer the question.
Oh, okay. We might have C-SPAN audio now. Maybe C-SPAN doesn't have Chris Wallace's audio. Well, that wouldn't make sense because he's the moderator. Yeah, I'm gonna get comfy. I'm gonna pack a bowl. And now I'm going to switch to the big monitor. Oh. Would help if I changed the graphic on the big monitor, wouldn't it? I'm still getting used to my new setup here. I got graphics and everything. Shit. Oh, they're making us wait for it. Can make it sizzle. There we go. Knock one back for me, girl. The anticipation. It's killing me. I could have done the whole Joe Biden clap you stupid bastards thing. So you want to take a guess? Was he taken out of context? Did he actually mean it? What do you guys think? Who's going to look good tonight? Is Biden going to look good?
Good evening from the Health Education campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates.
If you're watching me, there is
the Commission has designed the format,
between
6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the two candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all four debates. As a precaution, both campaigns have agreed the candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
This is surreal. I thought the 2016 debate was surreal. They're probably glad there's no handshake.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong, and where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all.
I don't know about that.
Top academic, good in every way, good in every way. In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly
for once,
would say
Trump
otherwise.
said something correct.
They wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they'd try and do it faster.
I need a bong
There's
for
no
this.
way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is, and that say occurs.
And that's what the Republicans said in 2016.
Senators, and when they vote for the president.
That's when it wasn't constitutional.
They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that. He ran on that, and he's been governing.
Now that is the one
He's in the Supreme Court
trick
right
that
now
they
trying to
have.
get rid of
nail down on the ACA and get people to
which will strip
advocate
20
against
million people from
her nomination with their senators.
Health insurance now, if it goes into court, and the justice, and I have nothing. I'm not opposed to the justice. She seems like a very fine person, but she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this
they gave you
before
plenty of
this
money.
election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February.
All right. There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, the people already had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
during
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years. And the 100 million people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very happy with.
That's simply not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist medicine.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number one, he knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand.
So far,
Obamacare,
Biden is A game.
and
I
we
think Trump
increase
is a
it.
little
We do
rattled.
Not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23
I wasn't expecting that,
of my
actually.
colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won, were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your
That
party
is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine
party is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million
Well,
people
we're just
that
talking about
contracted
healthcare.
COVID.
What happened?
What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act? And
Joe, you've had
this-
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And
this.
if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen,
Europe, which was heavily
Mr. President,
You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
Mr. President, as the moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court, And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is already
You don't know it's on the
begun.
ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because,
What?
because
Why is it
you
on the
said
ballot? It's not
you're-
on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the
I
court.
don't think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
And you
just be
don't
quiet
know
for a
her view on Roe v. Wade. You
I
don't
don't
know her
know.
view.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen.
Man,
we got a lot of
he
time.
looks pissed.
On health care, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after the election in which
That's
the
a
Trump
man that's had
administration,
a
along
couple
with
of
18
very bad
state attorneys
days.
general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an
Excuse
opportunity.
me. I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That
big
is not a
chunk of
comprehensive
Obamacare.
plan.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the
I
worst
didn't
part of
ask,
Obamacare.
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part
me.
of Obamacare.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular
Mr. Vice
aspect of
Trump's coming
Obamacare. I
after
got rid
Wall.
of
I'd
it.
like you
And
to,
we will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your question. You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Right. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something, that there's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do.
You had to have known there was going to be a lot of talking over top of each other.
Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care. All of the things that we've done, insulin. I'll give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people. The cost, I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water, you want to know the truth. So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because they pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No, but this is big. This is big stuff.
Sir, you'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the Vice President, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare, and the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
Well, if I ask you the question, it will
not
end.
What your party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid.
No.
They can
I
get
really
that
hope
free
that a public option
in most
would
states,
expand
except governors who want
into
to
a
deny
single-payer
people who are
system.
poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you would be with Bernie Sanders is far left on the manifesto, we call it, and that gives you socialized medicine.
That's not far left.
I'm not going to listen to him. The fact of the matter
giveaway
is,
for
I beat
healthcare
Bernie
is not the far
Sanders.
left.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days early. You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do
Super
is hurt.
Tuesday. You got very lucky.
Here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to make sure, because here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to.
We're 10 minutes into this.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
You pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Go,
the wrong
go,
night
Joe,
at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
God, I hope Joe punches him.
There is no
I will vote for
manifesto.
Joe Biden if he punches him.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left. You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you have any
Under that
idea
plan,
what
you
this
have
clown's
socialized,
doing?
They call it
Mr.
Do you have any do?
Socialized
He called him a
medicine.
clown.
Mr.
I'm
President.
going to tell you what. He is not for any help for people needing health care.
That is
because
correct.
because he, in fact, already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two, there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give them better health care at a much lower price because
and by
Obamacare
the way, he doesn't know how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a plan.
fixed it to an extent.
He has
Obamacare,
never done a
as
single
you might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the same time,
and it's too expensive.
Let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual
having
mandate.
some sort of manic
we guarantee
episode.
pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate.
Biden's cool as a cucumber.
Listen, this is the way it is. And that destroyed that. They shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people, okay? I said, you got to run it so well.
That's what he's
and I
known for.
just had a meeting with them. They said, the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive. Premiums are too high, and it doesn't work. So we do want to get rid of it. Chris, we want to get rid of it.
I understand it, sir, but I have to give you roughly equal time. Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care.
Of course we do.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking
How is this
originally about
real?
the Supreme Court here. If Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9
like a
justices
goddamn
there.
Mad TV
You call this a
sketch.
distraction by the president, but in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people
He shouldn't
tonight
talk about it
whether
right
or not
now.
you will support either ending the filibuster or
I am
packing
for
the
it.
court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how
Are you gonna
strongly
pack
you
the
feel.
court?
That's
vote
effective.
now.
Are you
gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people
That is a
know
cool,
your senators. I'm not going
collected,
to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
authoritative-
question?
the
A lot
question
of
is, the
new
question
Supreme Court
is,
justices,
the
radical
question-
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen,
This is-
I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
We're not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
Yes.
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second
Joe
subject
Biden's doing
is
what he needs to
COVID-19,
do.
which is an awfully serious subject. So
This is actually surprising to me.
let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
We've still got more than an hour of this.
200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked.
Didn't
in
want to
addition to
panic Wall
that,
Street.
what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you.
You have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country.
Wait a minute. It's his 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said, President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily
Jason, can I get
on my
a fact
side
check on that one?
said
I don't
that.
think it's true.
President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
they're
let me just tell you
super
something.
kind
I
to
don't care.
Biden.
I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no economic recession.
Sir, you made a
there was no recession.
You made a point. Let him answer it.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he's shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far more people. Far more people.
And,
you would have been
and by the way,
months late.
his own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine. We're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer?
No, by the way,
I don't. Gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future, because you both have touched on one of the two of the questions I'm going to ask.
Pfizer at all.
Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call them left, I don't know what I call them.
So you're suggesting that the head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slaoui?
I disagree with him.
I'd call him a
No, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
he said it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also be
after
after
when it's
that.
generally available.
Well, we're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers.
They're going to drone
and they can do 200,000
vaccines
a day.
into our
They're
houses.
going to be
This is the same man
it's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle.
It'd be close
by
to
the way,
zero.
maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
That was said sarcastically, and you know that. That was said sarcastically.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out, if we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have the vaccine sooner
I want to pick up on this question, though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying that public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying
Everybody
you can't,
knows.
or Senator
And
Harris is saying
no,
you can't trust the scientists.
No, well, no, you can't trust the scientists.
Did she really say that?
You can't trust
She said that public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do.
Can't trust
there's
Trump.
millions of scientists. There's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by the way,
I spoke to the scientists that are in charge.
By the way,
they will have the vaccine very soon.
Let him finish.
Do you believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you
to keep
about
turning to the camera?
Issue relating
It's something
to COVID.
I do.
He still hasn't even acknowledged that
It's
he
effective.
knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's
pre-prepared?
nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if
We'll
you
see
would have
who's
had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
if you would have had the charge of what I was put through, I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
We're
he's
going to
going
get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast.
Okay.
Look forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to provide
Tell that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
Tell it to
I think Boo Boy is a
And
Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate. And he sits on his golf course. And I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play
Think
more than
about
I
it.
do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country.
This motherfucker's
And
played
I
golf
want
like
to keep it
21
open.
times.
And we
You
did a
get-
great
he just
thing by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait
I
a
don't know
minute,
that I've
Joe.
ever
Let me
seen
shut you
Joe
down
Biden
for a
play
second,
golf.
Joe, just for 1 second. He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down.
God, he's an
More
idiot.
people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November 3rd.
I want to move on to another
Because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to another
thing.
subject.
But those states are not
subject.
doing well that are shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
respond to that.
Wants to
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease
begun. I thought he said
preventer.
you have the
and
gun.
in fact, recently you have
Like,
cited
what gun?
the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are-
I feel like that
of
one
masks?
thing about
If you look,
Biden's
I mean, I have a
college, he
mask
had
right here.
pre-prepared.
I put a mask
Other
on
than
it,
that,
you know,
he
when I
does
think I need
absolutely
it.
talk out of his
Tonight,
ass.
as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. But I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rallies.
when needed. When needed, I
He's
wear
so
masks.
narcissistic.
Okay, let me
I
ask-
would
I
say
don't
that
have-
he
I
didn't
don't
even do
wear
debate
masks like
prep.
him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say this.
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also
it
said
matters.
the opposite.
It does matter.
They've also said
no serious person said the opposite.
The
infection
rate.
serious
Dr.
person.
Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
He did not
I
say
want to
the
ask you,
opposite.
we got a
said
little
very
bit more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his
No,
mind.
I'm
He said
for
masks
it.
good.
I'm
I'm
okay
okay with
during
masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both
them.
about
so
one
there's
last
not a pandemic.
subject, because
Keep your
your
spit
different
to
approaches
yourself.
has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
Outside, yes, sir, agreed.
Like a motherfucker.
Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with.
Because nobody will show up.
People with.
Well, it's true. Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding
see,
the
that
big
would be more
rallies? Why
effective if
you
he hadn't
not?
rambled
You
so
go first,
much.
sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you
I've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
and
not worried
hangars,
about
and we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issue,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a
We've
big
been doing
difference.
them about
according
2
to the
weeks. We're going to start
experts.
seeing the
And we do them outside. We have
results of this.
tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
sir.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no negative
cheek to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
Oh, I'm sure
We've
he's
had
a
no negative
gigantic
effect.
pussy
We've had
about it.
35,000, 40,000
All right.
people
you want
at
to
any of these rallies.
just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing
What do
masks.
you mean had a kid
basically
recently
encourage
die
them
from
not to.
it? What are you talking
All right.
about?
Ben, he's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on
Nobody
to the
cares.
gentlemen? Can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown.
Much faster.
In the
it's
second
gonna
quarter,
take a
the
crashing
unemployment
unit.
rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go
all
first.
these litter
So we
shapes.
built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that.
Didn't
We're
provide
going to open
people
up on November 9th. Why November 9th?
money
Because it's
to
after
live
the
on.
election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina,
Google football
when you look at
games
these governors
canceled.
are under siege.
And just
Pennsylvania,
go through the
Michigan,
list.
and a couple of others. You got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about
Schools
almost
are
like being
all
in prison.
having outbreaks.
And you look at what's going on with divorce. Look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market.
I'm not understanding
but you
how
folks
the
at
K
home,
goes with
you
the
folks living in
line.
Scranton and Claymont
Is
and
the
all
K
the
on
small
its
towns
back?
and working
Is the
class towns in
line-
America. How well are you doing? This
Because
guy
how's
paid
that different
a total
than a
of
V-shape
$750
then?
in taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just
wrong
yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the
This
2 minutes, so
K-shaped
please let him
recovery
have it.
thing
I
is
get my
fucking
time
with
back?
me.
The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history.
Is that
Secondly,
true?
the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been
Bush?
on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people
like
who've
it'd
been
probably
putting
be true of
themselves in a
Reagan.
way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea
I don't know
that
what
he
Biden's
is
talking about
insisting
there.
that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in
I think
terms of your
they're-
health
they're
and your
doing their
safety.
best to kill all of
Why are
Florida before
schools
the
open?
election.
Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up, sir. We are going to get to...
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools.
so did you.
People want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town, and I'm not sure it can
Remember,
ever
there's
recover
always
what they've done
a
in New
tweet.
York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives.
People
They'll
want
be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want their schools
Okay.
open.
Joe
Biden's
I'm
doing
the one that
incredibly
brought back
well
football.
tonight.
By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
All right,
people of
let's-
Ohio are very proud of me. And you know
We're
how
going
I
to get
found
back,
out? When he took a
gentlemen,
phony
we're going to
ad.
get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay
How
a lot of
outrageous
other
are you getting ready
taxes,
to
but
get?
I'm asking you the specific question. Is it
Yeah,
true
you
that
don't
you
look
paid
happy about getting asked
$750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
I
That's
paid
no
millions
malarkey.
of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers.
Show us your tax
I paid
returns.
$38 million one year. I paid $27 million
Show us your tax
1 year.
returns.
I went. You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and we have a very I built a
Sir,
great
I'm asking you a
company.
specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand all
return.
of that.
But let me-
No, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it.
and
And
that
you'll
was
get
the
to
most
see it.
he'd paid
But let me
in
just tell
750.
you, Chris. Let me just tell you something. That it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We build a building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that.
Oh,
now the man
he's
got
talking about,
fired
like, the
right
actual
after that
Pennsylvania
happened.
Avenue.
But
Vice
That's
President
like
Biden, you
some
want to respond?
monopoly
Yeah, I do
shit.
want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him the put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher makes on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. And I'm going to eliminate those tax cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two,
this
it would
pandemic
create
has been
an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying America. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it before when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was your tax proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed like it's never boomed.
The economy is
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for the American people.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming, it turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president,
thank you, Chris,
more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery.
The slowest recovery
since
since
they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery
that is a bluff.
The
Tell
jobs
a company
you're
to take
about.
their fucking
We handed him a
somewhere
booming
else.
economy.
Dare
he blew
them.
it.
It wasn't
he
booming.
put a tariff on their
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since 1929.
Is it fair to say he blew it when fact, there was
not
record
do business in
unemployment
America.
before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse me, Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you were number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would take a
guy.
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing. Part of my standard fare.
I'm the guy that brought back the automobile industry.
All right, let him.
We brought back. I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having
and they didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch, down
All right,
18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out. He takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it,
I hate the
just out of curiosity,
with a burning passion.
the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None of that is true.
Let him answer.
None of that is true.
Oh, really? He didn't get $3.5 million?
Mr. President,
Mr.
President, please.
Totally discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
well, wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
he got $3.5 million.
That is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr. President, it's an open discussion, please.
It's a fact.
Well, you have raised an issue. Let the Vice President answer.
Discredited.
Did Burisma pay him $183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr. President,
with no job? My son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited by everybody. Well, by the media, by our allies, by the World Bank, by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the people who testified under oath.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to you.
You got $3.5 million from Moscow.
He testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I
really?
did it
I'd
honorably.
like to know who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the people who testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a good job.
Some people don't do a good job. With you,
go ahead. Wait a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just say to you.
No. Mr. President.
$3.5 million, Joe.
That is simply
Why did he deserve $3.5 million from Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families.
Because they
ethics.
wanted access to the
I don't want to do
vice
that.
president.
I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's already.
My family lost a fortune by coming down and helping us with government.
And that's such a
Mr. President.
Every single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune.
about my family or his family. It's about your family, the American people. He doesn't. That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need, you, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about here.
All right, that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice President,
no. Can I be honest? It's a very important
question. Try to be honest.
He stood up.
No, the answer to the question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
that is absolutely
you know what,
not true.
You're going to have
true.
Gentlemen. I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal. We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting than he has.
That's all right, but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less than
plenty.
No, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, spewing,
that's the reason why
spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very
Fuck those Nazis
fine
even
people
more.
on both sides. No president has ever said anything like that.
It's another reason to hate the fucking
Nazis. Second point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed, there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is the savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African-American community.
So, President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with racism?
He did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that. Because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio. You just said the Nazi support. I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support
I already
President
wasn't going to vote for
I don't
you,
think
sir.
you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't.
There was never
the top
an
10
insurrection
cities
in
and just
Seattle.
about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and
Trump
order,
is
and you're
trying
afraid
his
to even
best
say
to
it.
sell me on Joe Biden.
I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right,
what is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of a town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place, and you say peaceful protest? No, it's not, but you say it is.
President Trump, I'd like to continue with the issue of race. I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody else. And he would know.
What is radical about racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and, frankly, very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country.
Teaching people to hate the country.
They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place. It's a racist place. And they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's the racist.
You just don't know.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about this.
Let him finish.
The fact is that
you
there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them, what is demeaning to them. It's important to people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the way a child is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson, you go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Oh, my
but
Lord.
The reason is that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these cities don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime.
still haven't mentioned.
Violent
Are you
crime.
in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow it.
Are you in favor of law and order? Go ahead, say it.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
Law and order.
Let him.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly.
He's up here like,
And
are you for the law?
Are
Are you for law?
15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down
He
much
had-
more.
he had-
All right, we're now.
is president of
Mr.
the
President,
United
you're going
States of America.
We were
Mr. President,
breaking every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because
And
we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic
Wait,
run
what were we talking about
cities.
That's
before?
exactly my question. There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot.
We got the right to
if you look
fucking
at New York,
homicide
where
people if
it's
we
going
want
up
to.
like nobody's ever seen anything. The numbers are going up 100, 150, 200%. crime.
Republican
It is
cities.
crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters.
There has been
and
a
once he does that, it's
spike
over
in
with.
crime.
But if he ever got to run this country, and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone, and you would see problems like you've never seen.
He would know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So much
I was
better.
raised.
Go ahead. Wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles and racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and/or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do anything. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing. First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support?
What the fuck they showing on C-SPAN 1 right now?
If I might finish the question, what does reimagining policing mean, and
What's
do you
fucking more
support the Black
important than
Lives
this?
Matter call for community control of policing?
Look, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police offices. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding it, his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about. He's talking about defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law
support.
He has no law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
No, think
All
about it. Name one law enforcement group that came out and supported
gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the moderator's role, and I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is, as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you stop the days and months of violence in Portland?
I don't hold public office now. I am a former vice president. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted, and anyone who commits it.
But you've never called for the people, the leader. Excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to bring in the National Guard and knock off 100 days of violence.
They can, in fact, take care of it if you just stay out of the way.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Here's the thing.
I sent in the U.S. Marshals to get the killer of the young man in the middle of the street. They shot him, and for 3 days, Portland wouldn't do anything. I had to send in the U.S. Marshals. They took care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all about.
I don't know who said that.
That's true.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said that.
She said that. And so here's the But here's the point.
Is that true?
The point is that's what he keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly, every single solitary time.
And to end this, button up this segment. I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly criticized.
Wait, I have to answer his statement.
No, you have
his
repeatedly.
Statement. Wait,
you have
just one
no,
second.
you've been talking back
made
and
a
forth.
Statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to
you know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it. And
you know,
we
if you
would
want to
very-
switch seats.
We
could
very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd
I'm
send in the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be no problem.
I would much
but
rather
they don't want to
have
accept
Chris
the National
Wallace as
Guard.
president.
You have
than Donald
repeatedly
Trump.
criticized the vice president for
I would
not
hands down
specifically
make that
calling
trade.
out
Let's do
Antifa
that.
and other
And then
left-wing
Trump can
extremist
host the
groups.
reality show.
But are you willing tonight to
Chris
condemn
Wallace
white
just had a
supremacists
fantastic
and
idea.
militia
I'm on
groups
board.
and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see
feel
is
like
from
he's
the
really
left
throwing a
wing,
temper
not
tantrum.
from the right
So
wing.
what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a
the threat
left-wing
of
problem.
white
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you gotta be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what
Oh, really?
his
It's an idea.
FBI. His
Okay.
FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well,
we're
then
gonna,
you know what?
No,
He's
no,
wrong.
we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're
When a
moving.
bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is bad.
administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas that are
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump
And
and
you ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow you.
When
in
a
2
president,
seconds.
I'm going to ask a question. When the president seeks a second term, it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative. And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest, before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling and they were saying, it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've rebuilt our military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court justices. That is a record, the likes of which very few people, and you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings, and if I were a member of his party,
blocked
because they have a little
128
different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president. You can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy, and he caused the recession. With regard to being weaker, the fact is that I've gone head-to-head with Putin, and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
His son got $3.5 million.
That's right. And
Mr.
by the way,
my son... Wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word.
Can you add back I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical question.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yes, you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, thirdly, we're poor. The billionaires have gotten much more wealthy by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion more just since COVID. You in the home, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before.
I'm sure he interrupts
in terms
again.
of being more violent.
Oh, he's
when
dying.
When we were in office, there were 15% less violence in America than there is today. He's president of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about Hunter?
hell.
Are you talking
I'm
about
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true.
He was talking about
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
No, I didn't bring up
Hunter.
Let's talk about
He made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
that is simply
and various
not
other places.
True.
He
my
made a
son,
fortune.
My son.
And he didn't have a job.
My son.
I think Trump is jealous.
Like a lot of people we know at home.
Biden has more money than him.
Drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he given tens of millions of dollars?
But he wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally discredited.
We've already been
totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a judgment call here.
Gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow.
Let's talk about
not true.
Gentlemen, that report is totally discredited. Mitt Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers' money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
You know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
Okay. The forest fires in the West are raging now. They have burned millions of acres. They have displaced hundreds of thousands of people. When state officials there blame the fires on climate change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have rolled back a number of Obama environmental records. What do you believe about the science of climate change? And what will you do in the next 4 years to confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally.
Well,
but I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette in there, the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest management.
What do you
You've got to have cuts.
What do you believe about the science of climate change, sir?
I believe that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project.
1 billion
and it's very exciting.
You believe
for a lot of people.
that human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of the planet?
I think a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests. Every year, I get the call, California's burning. California's burning. If that was clean, if you had forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they have forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country.
Their forests.
It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, at some point, you can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground. That's burning down because of a lack of management.
But, sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars and trucks?
Well, not really, because what's happening is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car, and you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by $3,500.
In the case of California, they've simply ignored
No, but you would take a lot of cars
rollback
off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me, many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And I'm okay with electric cars, too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars. But what they've done in California is just crazy.
Right. Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050. The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was in charge, able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability of us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they, in fact, are weatherized in a way that, in fact, they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs. Not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening.
New Deal
it's
now,
all
will you?
falling apart. And talk about someone who has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down. More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
What about the argument that President Trump basically says that you have to balance environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line?
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, makes sure that he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that
This really
the
is
fact
a diminished Joe Biden.
It's all true. And here's the
talking
deal.
about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion,
Joe
as you
Biden
said.
5 years
It's
ago would have absolutely
$100 trillion.
I'm talking
This
about.
Joe
But they
Biden
want to rip down
did a good
buildings
job.
and rebuild the building.
No,
It's the
that is
dumbest,
not-
most
that
ridiculous.
is not-
where airplanes are out of
Wait a minute,
business,
that's it.
where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want
true.
to take out the cows too.
Not
That's
true.
not true either, right?
Not
this is
true.
this is a 100
Simply,
trillion.
look,
That's more money than
that
our
is-
country could make in
that is
100
simply
years if we're
not
going.
the case.
All right, let me
destroy our
because I
country.
actually wait a minute, sir. I actually
Kanye
have studied
is
your
on
plan,
the ballot
and it
in your
includes upgrading
state,
4 million
Jason.
buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4
Just
years,
so you know.
building 1.5 million energy efficient
You
homes.
have the opportunity to vote for
So
Kanye
the question
West
becomes,
if you
the
so
president
choose.
is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good
I
paying
do not
jobs.
fault
Let him finish,
anyone
sir.
He
in
doesn't
a
know how to do
battleground
that.
state for voting for
The
Joe
fact
Biden.
is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs, and these tax incentives to people
he
for
got on the
people to
ballot
weatherize,
today.
which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now
Out
to
of
deal with
nowhere.
the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
That's
He
what
did.
say.
He did say that.
And here's the deal.
You make up a
we
lot of
we are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by
I
making sure
told
the
you.
environment is clean and we all are in better shape.
You
We
act
spend
like me
billions
doing a
of
show
dollars
about the
now,
news wouldn't tell
billions
you
of
about
dollars
news
on floods,
and know the news.
hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happening just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. They didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen.
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. They all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion,
That is
not
not
$20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
the Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is
building.
not my plan.
You want to rebuild every.
If he knew anything about, if he knew
Gentlemen,
anything
He made a
about,
statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did
Sir,
is he
you're done in
said
this segment.
he called the military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
Please,
bastards.
He didn't say
He
stupid
said it.
bastards.
Stop.
He
I
played
would
it right
never
before
say
the
that.
debate.
Stop.
Play it.
Go ahead. Mr.
You're on
Vice
tape.
President answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rantings.
I'm having a little trouble myself, but
Chris Wallace is like,
and
yeah, I
about the economy
understand.
and about this question of what it's going to cost.
The economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the idea of what your
the
environmental
Green New
changes
Deal,
will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward. We're not going to build plants that, in fact, are great polluting plants.
So do you
We're going to
support
build
the Green New Deal?
Pardon me?
Do you support
No, I don't support the Green New
Oh,
Deal.
you don't? Oh, well, that's a big statement.
I
That
support
means you
the
just lost the radical left.
I
Oh,
support
you
the
don't.
Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is different than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment, election integrity. As we meet tonight, millions of Americans are receiving mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election, and what are you prepared to do
Seriously, I
over
have
the
so
next
much
5
respect for Chris Wallace
plus
now.
weeks?
He did a
because
great
it'll not
job,
only be
or
to
as
election
good a
day, but
job as you
also
could do.
counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after election day. What are you prepared
Chris
to do
Wallace
to
is the
reassure
winner
the
of
American
this
people
debate.
that the next president
Joe
will be
Biden
the
comes
legitimate
in close
winner
second.
of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and
Iowa
what means
vote?
by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida.
His hair?
Number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you. Because you will, he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not when the votes are counted and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that will be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter. Because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country is going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change? You get 4 more years of these lies.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition.
Was that?
As far as the ballots are concerned,
on his taxes, right? So it would have been $70,000 he spent in the year.
Solicited ballot
on that hair.
Okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting. You're asking. They send it back. You send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump. Just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket.
These ballots were
They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing,
I bet
it's
everybody
nice
did get
on
2
November
ballots,
3rd,
a Republican
you're watching
and a Democrat.
and you see who won the election.
You fill out the one that
you
registered
as. I think we're going to do well
as.
because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia.
Do they charge
and other places.
by the hour to
They're
fix
not
it?
losing
Is that
2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
sir,
all run by Democrats.
2 minutes is 2 minutes.
All run by Democrats. It's
President Trump,
it's a rigged election.
You're going to be able to continue. You have been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud.
He's not going to want
but
to
in
leave
2018,
office.
in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
But
they throw them out left
if there are millions of ballots going out right now?
What you do is you go and vote. You do a solicited ballot, and that's okay, or you go and vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
you go and vote. you go and vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is, what are you
they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're
I have
sending.
decided to vote
They
in
have
person.
mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia.
Mainly
Mailmen
because
selling
the
the ballots.
cutoff
They're
was
being
fucking
sold.
months
They're
ago
being
to
dumped
get a
in
mail
rivers.
in.
This is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no.
This is not.
There is no.
This is not
evidence of
going to
that.
end well.
There is
Okay.
no
This
evidence
is
of that.
not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden.
5 states
In fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
sir.
ballots for the last decade or more. 5, including 2 Republican states. And you don't have to solicit the ballot. It's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What we're saying is,
Yeah, there's like
they're
one
saying
state
is
that does
has
it
to
all
be a
by mail-in
postmark
mail.
by the time, by election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted.
Yeah.
He's just afraid of counting the votes because he
You're
knows what the
wrong.
outcome
You're
is.
wrong.
No, I want to continue with you on
I
this,
love that.
Vice President Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes a statement
no,
like that.
excuse me, Vice President Biden. The biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're
I'm not
supposed
sure
to have
they
an
have the
affidavit.
time
If you
to
didn't
get
know,
her
you
on the
have
court
someone
before
say
the
that
election.
this is me. You
But
should
they
be able
may.
to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me, Chris, when you have 80 million ballots
I have a final
sent in
question.
and swamping the system, you know it can't be done. You know it can't. And already
All
there's
right.
been
So now,
fraud.
Mail service
deception.
delivers
wait a minute, gentlemen. In the
185
final
million
question
pieces of mail a
is,
day.
in 8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking. In 8 states,
disgrace.
election workers are prohibited, currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and flatten them until Election Day. That means that it's likely, because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks,
could be months,
until we find out who the new president is. So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified? President Trump, you go first.
I'm urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully, because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. And I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell you what, from a common sense,
does that mean you're going to tell your people to take to the street?
It means you have a fraudulent election. You're sending out 80 million ballots. They're not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two, they cheat.
Would have to agree
they cheat.
To that.
Hey, they found ballots in a wastepaper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them.
Vice President
you think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes, and here's the deal. We count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why was it not? Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process.
Yeah, Joe's
it's
getting
honest.
tired.
No
and
one has
frustrated.
established at all
And I can't
that
blame
there
him
is
on that one.
fraud related
You
to
put up a
mail-in
strong
ballots.
showing.
That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a
but-
look at Carolyn Maloney's race
I
in
asked
Manhattan.
you had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Monroe.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared, after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome, and I'll be a president not just for the Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And this guy,
I want to see an
fact,
honest
Okay,
ballot count.
gentlemen, you say that's the end of
Chris,
it. This is the
I
end
wanna
of this
see an
debate.
honest ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on.
like 2
President
weeks.
Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will debate at 9 p.m. Eastern that night. We hope you watch. Until then, thank you and good night. Thank you.
That was painful. What'd you guys think? Who won the debate? It was a wreck. Chris Wallace did indeed win the debate. He's the one that came out looking the best. Oh shit! Do we have the? Do you guys want to call C-SPAN? Hold on. Let's call C-SPAN. Oh shit, I didn't know this was coming or I would have been ready. Fuck. Pooh boy, leave me alone. We've got business now. Are we going to get through to C-SPAN? Of course not. But if we call enough times, we absolutely will get through to C-SPAN. Let's talk.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 8.
No, that's not C-SPAN. What? That was fucking Pooh Boy again. That was C-SPAN. But if we call enough times, we'll get through. There are no winners. No, I think Chris Wallace was a winner. He seriously impressed me. I really want to talk to C-SPAN. This could be really good. If I get on C-SPAN. Well, no, that was never going to happen. Biden did the best job he could handling it. Am I going to get through? It's not ringing or beeping yet. Well, shit. We'll turn off anonymous calling. Maybe that was also blocking us. I can't remember. I think they may call out the area code on C-SPAN. It's been a while since I've got to watch some C-SPAN. I'm a big fan. We'll keep trying, though. I was going to take phone calls, but if I can get through to C-SPAN, that's even better. I'm sure you guys want to hear me on C-SPAN. I thought Trump was far more unhinged than I thought he would be. Because, I mean, he's the incumbent. He's... You want to project an air of being in charge. Being in a place of authority. He came off like a whiny little bitch. Joe Biden was overall pretty calm. I think by the end he was frustrated, but who wouldn't be? Honest to God, if you were to debate Donald Trump, wouldn't you be frustrated by the time you got finished with that hour and a half? As our commenters have said, it was painful. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on? Damn it, Poop Boy. That's a lot of effort. I've been sitting here trying to call C-SPAN. So he's been sitting here dialing me over and over again. Trying to get through to me the way I'm trying to get through to C-SPAN. That's sad. I don't even know if C-SPAN's on right now. Can we... I mean, I can't blame him. It's still acting like it's not ringing. Come on, C-SPAN. I don't want to call Poop Boy. God damn it. Get out of my call log. So I can call C-SPAN. See if they're not live right now. I don't know. Can I go to cspan.com? Maybe they're live. Is it a .com? Probably not. not sure how you can come to that conclusion. Would you like to call in and tell me what makes you think Biden got his ass whipped? 917-830-4359. I would be very interested to hear that. I'll stop calling C-SPAN if you'd like to give us a ring. So what was on C-SPAN 1? That's what I really want to know. Book TV.
I also don't think that.
See, yeah, we won't call C-SPAN. We won't be on Washington Journal. Good Lord, yes. I'm calling on the Biden line, by the way. I guess. I'm not really a Biden supporter, but I sure ain't no Trump supporter. They didn't have an independent or an undecided or anything. I would have called that line. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I won't gunk up their Biden line. I'll call the real line. 202-748. Fuck, poop boy. Two 748 8922. Okay. Make sure I got the right one. If you're just joining us, I'm trying to call C-SPAN. Get on the Washington Journal. After our live debate coverage. Seriously, pricey dinosaur. I want to know why you think Joe Biden got his ass whipped while we're trying to get on C-SPAN. What's this guy's name? I don't know it. Surely they got some kind of like hold system. Did I get on a hold for a little bit? I desperately want to talk about politics on a national fucking scale. They might actually have some viewers right after a debate. Come on, C-SPAN, you're letting me down. I know Breed Creed is rooting me on. Caller, you're on Troll Patrol Live. What's going on?
I'm gonna eat your ass, boy!
Damn, Poop Boy. How many numbers you got? I mean, if you want to eat my ass, you can. I guess. The dedication while I'm sitting here trying to call C-SPAN that he must have to try to call me. From the third different number. It's my dream to talk politics on a national show. Come on, C-SPAN. I will be a well-spoken guest. I promise. You look at the towns, so surely they've got a screener. Unless they're just going by the area code, because then they're going to say, I'm from New York. Then I'm going to talk with this very southern accent. They're going to be like, you're not from fucking New York. No, I blocked your number. I'm absolutely answering my callers. That's how you got through the one time. You called on a number you hadn't called from before. You dumb fuck. So you're putting an awful lot of effort into this. It's kind of hilarious. And the funny part is I would give you a platform. If you would actually call and talk to me, I'd let you fucking ramble for a long time. That's the most hilarious thing about it. But you just call and fucking do stupid shit. I'm like, okay. But you know, what do I expect from a kid that looks like this, right? Daniel James Bateman. How old are you? Now, granted, I don't know. Like, I scrolled far back before I found this picture. It probably is a few years ago. Your hair seemed to be a little bit longer. You were definitely dressed up to go to the prom. Maybe a birthday party. I'm not giving up on C-SPAN, guys. I most certainly am calling them. We might watch the whole Joe Biden stupid bastards video here in a second. While I'm trying to call C-SPAN. See the ones with the pause there? They give me false hope that I think I'm gonna get through. Now, it's been a while since I've watched C-SPAN. it's possible that they don't take that many independent or other callers. Sitting here with a Bernie Sanders with a king and a bunch of cats shirt on. So I think it's pretty clear that I'm not a Biden supporter in any way. I mean, are you one to talk about foreheads, dude? What the fuck? Now, granted, your hair lays very nice over top of your gigantic fucking forehead. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying to call in to C-SPAN. I want to talk on Washington Journal. See, it's giving me false hope. It's not beeping or ringing. Oh, people are leaving me now. I'm sorry. Is it not entertaining watching me dial a number over and over again? Boot Boy seems entertained. I'm definitely going with Chris Wallace won the debate. I wonder if anybody said that yet. We haven't been watching the feed, so. Oh, come on, C-SPAN. We getting called commie by a fucking 8-year-old. Son, you don't even know the difference in economic systems. I'll take this opportunity to explain that all economies are a mixed economy. To call somebody a commie is a misnomer, especially somebody like me who understands the nuances and is not in anywhere near arguing for anything like communism, but fucking dumb fucks like Poop Boy think that communism is some sort of political system. It's not. It's an economic system. When people are talking about what they hate about communism, they're actually talking about authoritism or fascism. They don't actually know what communist means. Or socialism. Iowa, fuck, you're talking for a while. I did the rest of the show without this bandana on. I want you to know. I put it back on during the debate. Just because I like the bandana an awful fucking lot. Has nothing to do with being ashamed of my bald spot or my receding hairline. I've actually thought about shaving it off. It's just like, I don't want to. So it's not like you bother me. I make jokes about losing my hair all the time. The reason why I don't shave it off is because for several years I had to wear a suit and tie to work. I had to look a lot different than I look right now. And I always wanted to have long hair. This is when I was younger. Like, we're talking, I never had the chance to have long hair because stuff always happened. Had to cut it, look all nice and neat for jobs and shit. Because before I was even old enough to drink, I had a lot of, I don't know what. I had to look presentable a lot. I wear suits and ties. Spent a few years as a news reporter. Drink some what? I'm not really a drinker, my friend. On the holidays, I usually make a holiday cocktail. Why don't, if I bother you so bad, why don't you drink the bleach? Why? Isn't that the better solution? And then, like, I don't bother you at all. I can't remember the next lyric. I was gonna sing it, man. I'm sorry, I can't. I've fucking. It's been a long night and I'm really stoned. This has been my days working hard on the go. But the hands on the clock keep moving too slow. Yeah, there we go. Fine. I had to actually like get into it there. I'm not Bruce Pritchard, motherfucker. Don't come on here expecting me to sing for you. And if I do, it's probably going to be like Creed or Cher. My sacrifice. Creed came out with a new album, didn't they? Am I wrong about that? I don't know. I don't keep up with Creed. I already told you, I am not Bruce Pritchard, and you can't go to the freaking shop at shop.spreadshirt.com/JustinFreakin and put a T on your back. There's a T in my name, and you want to put a T on your back at the freaking shop. At the link right below my picture right here. Watch me finger it. I probably just missed my shot. He just hung up with somebody, didn't he? God damn it. I'm usually pretty good about getting in places, just calling repeatedly. However, I'm doing this through a web browser, and there's like, I can't rapid call. He looks serious. He wants to talk to me. Look at that look on his face. He's like, I sure wish Justin Freakin would call in. That would make it a goddamn interesting night. Oh, I hate the fake out it does. I'm gonna be serious, guys. I'm not gonna fuck with him. I'm not gonna poop boy this. I'm gonna legit talk politics. My hope is to have a good conversation and to plug my show. That's my hope. Because I want to put this show in front of people that like politics. And who better to put my show in front of people that like politics than fucking C-SPAN. And the Washington Journal specifically. Because fucknuts that would watch my show are watching the Washington Journal and trying to call in and fuck with them. See, look at him smirking right there. Like he just had a funny caller. God damn it. And if C-SPAN knew, they'd fucking call me. They'd be like, this is such good shit, pal. Is this the president leaving? They were in Ohio at BYU? I think. Ohio State? Kent State? If I just name off all the colleges, I'm sure I'll get it right. Is BYU even in Ohio? I don't know. C-SPAN. Troll Patrol wants to be on the line. What if he asked me what I want to talk about? Is he going to ask me a question? I don't exactly know how this works. Am I going to get a writing prompt on this? I really want to talk to C-SPAN. See, I haven't even processed the debate yet, other than the thoughts I gave you guys live as we're going on. I want him to ask me a question, get my brain thinking. He may be like, caller, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, derp. I used to prank call local shows, local talk afternoon jock, and they had local TV shows and shit. As for like actual national shows, I've only called into a couple and gotten through, and they've never actually thought that my call was interesting. I've always gotten like hung up on and moved on pretty fast. Burn in. Oh man, I thought I heard somebody pick up. God damn it! What about Discord? Monkey dog? I'm on Discord, but it is not one of the platforms that's set up within the software that I'm using. I should make a Troll Patrol server though. I'll get on that. Breed Creed used to make prank phone calls with me back in the day. But we were far more highbrow than fucking Poop Boy over here. Just doing absolute stupid shit. And then acting like he's trolling. You're not trolling, you're just being annoying. I, my friend, I brought trolling to an art form. And I'm also like, I don't have you blocked, I just have you muted and shit. I still see everything you do. He's got me blocked on his main profile, though. He doesn't know how many profiles I got, so like, I've got tabs on him. I always have to look though. Daniel James Bateman, I got tabs on you, Poop Boy. Somebody tried to call in. I was still trying to call C-SPAN. If you'd like to call in and talk to me, 917-830-4359. Give me a call back, unless you're Poop Boy. If it's Poop Boy, I'm just going to hang up on you. I don't know how I missed that one. I was sitting here looking for it. Call back, man. I'm trying to take your call. 917-830-4359. If not, let me go back to trying to call C-SPAN. Because I'm actually going to call C-SPAN. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Nigger. Fuck this. I'm gonna block to you with my fucking hands up. I'm not starting my fucking self.
You, not
fucking
on me.
Stupid
You know
bitch. This stupid fucking justice, all fucking righteous fucking nigger, Alex, is doing this shit. You fucking nigger. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna yell. Everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid nigger.
Well, at least that was some thought. I like the song. Are you going to talk to me? What's going on? You got blocked. Boom. Now, back to calling C-SPAN. He's seriously not good at it. That's the thing is, like, I give him a little bit, like, so like, all right, show us what you got. I'm like the head coming down to planet Earth. Show me what you got. But I mean, if you're just gonna be a little fucking douchewad, like, I'm gonna block you. Do things get wadded up in douches? I thought C-SPAN answered. That would have been like wild if I answered. Like C-SPAN answered, and I'm like, yeah, do wads get stuck in douches? And they're like, did you call to talk about politics? Why, yes. Yes, I did. I promise I'm well educated on the subject. Yeah, I could teach a 4,000 level college class in trolling. This kid hasn't even graduated into junior high yet. I mean, maybe he's planning on going to his middle school prom. Those eyes, man. Freaky. Why is that the picture I chose? He's like, God damn, that was like from 5 years ago. Admittedly, that's an old picture of him, but I don't know why it gravitated to me. Just the way he was looking at the camera. He had the like the Jonathan Taylor Thomas hair going on from like peak 90s. Look at this guy right here. I want to talk to him. No, that was beyond a pompadour, man. You just tried to shoehorn your own stupid middle school haircut into it. Oh, fuck. Man, I really want to talk to C-SPAN. I also don't want to spend an hour trying to talk to C-SPAN. Let me try to think about my thoughts about the debate. Biden did better than I thought he would. Trump seemed very unhinged. More so than usual. See, I'm so glad I took last night off. Fucking 3.5 hours of this shit. It's the next phase. That is not a phase of a pompadour. Trump is trying to pompadour, motherfucker. Oh, I'm live. I was trying to get a shot of Trump up here. I'm like, that's a fucking pompadour. That motherfucker got pompadour going on right there. Don't you people have anything better to do than sit here and watch me dial C-SPAN repeatedly? Granted, it'd be really fun if we got through. I'm kind of losing hope now at this moment. All I keep getting are busy signals. He's happily taking phone calls. Look at him over there. With his smug little fucking face. Not taking the freak daddy's calls. Look at him. Look at him. He knows. He knows. He's even like, nah, don't take that freak daddy. No. Yeah, I'm not going to get it. It's going to be busy signal. I always hesitate to hang up. Sometimes it takes a while. It just gives me the freak out. Do I have pot left? I'm not high enough for this shit. Because good Lord knows you gotta be high to call in to C-SPAN. I'm sorry, man. I probably shouldn't insult my audience, should I? Like, goddamn it, losers. Don't you have anything better to do than watch my show? Fuck. I'm sorry. Please watch my show. I apologize for my previous remarks. Please watch my show. I would really appreciate it. I love you. Why couldn't it be anybody else but Joe Biden? Like, I couldn't bring myself to buy a Biden shirt. I might have bought a Kamala Harris shirt. I would have been more enthusiastic for Kamala Harris. Is that like the establishment Democrats? Like, oh, you should have got on with one of the other fucking milquetoast motherfuckers we picked out instead of that Bernie. We'll show you. We'll give you the worst one. Be glad you didn't get Michael Bloomberg. Now, the thing that the entire time I'm watching the debate is I don't think I know the other two. I don't think it's Gwen Ifill that's doing, but it's somebody from PBS, and I'm not sure that I know who she is. And Susan Page for the vice presidential debate, which looks like it's next Thursday. So we'll be streaming live again for more than 3 hours, and I'll try to call C-SPAN probably again. We'll get through one of these times. So Steve Scully of C-SPAN. Is that this guy? Oh, no. It's the guy that usually does Washington Journal. Okay. He'll probably be a good moderator, but I don't know if he'll be as assertive as Chris Wallace. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on? Aw. Well, shit. Maybe you didn't think he was going to get through. Like, I think I'm not going to get through to C-SPAN. Oh, whoever you are, I did not mean to call you back. I'm trying to call C-SPAN. But if you want to, you can try to call back in and actually say something. I take any and all comers at all times. 917-830-4359. But good luck with that. I'm trying to call C-SPAN. I made a pitch to a conservative about doing a true right-wing versus left-wing political podcast. No holds barred. Straight up. And he wasn't all about it, unfortunately. Hey George, what's going on? I'm just trying to call C-SPAN. What are you into tonight? Something's going on somewhere. Damn it, C-SPAN. Alright, I'm going to give it to the bottom of the hour. If I haven't gotten through, we'll try again next time when we're live for the vice presidential debate. If you don't normally join us, like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow if you're on the Twitch. Whatever the fuck it's called on whatever platform you're on. If you enjoy my brand of fuckery. I broadcast live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch my cartoon news report every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Right now it's just on YouTube because I'm in Facebook jail, but usually it's on Facebook and YouTube. The Troll Patrol is on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, D-Live, Smashcast, Vaughn TV, whole bunch of other shit. I'm on a whole bunch of platforms. If you're watching on D-Live or Smashcast or one of those, say hey. I haven't had anybody comment from one of those platforms. It'd be nice to know that, like, we are still broadcasting. If you sign up for Patreon, just kind of getting it off the ground, but you get the weekend editions of the freaking news. You get my archives. The TV show that I did at my college called the Friday Night Freak Show. I have the entire fucking run. I didn't realize I had all the video. I thought it was lost forever. I fucking have it. It's all gonna go on Patreon. You can watch me bomb. My worst ever stand-up bomb is on Patreon. You can hear the news report that got me fired from terrestrial radio. That's a Patreon exclusive. Plus you get producer's credits for all the videos I produce after this. You got a few different levels. For just $1, you can become a friend of Freakin. Get access to the entire archive. For $3, you can help me sue Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins keeps ripping off my shit. Watch the video. Learn how you can help me sue Seth Rollins. For $5 a month, you can help me sue Gwyneth Paltrow. She stole one of my most brilliant ideas. You can hear it for yourself. You can hear the stand-up routine where I come up with the idea for pussy candles. Years before Gwyneth Paltrow. Several people have tried to call in. Please call back. I'm gonna quit calling. Okay. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on? What's going on, caller? You're on the Troll Patrol. Hey, are you a little bitch? Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. I know you're there. You were just trying to call me. All right, bye, bro. See ya. I've been trying to call C-SPAN. I don't know if C-SPAN is still going. They've cut away from the desk. I don't know if they're still taking phone calls. I don't know why I am, but if you still want to call, I've had a few different people try to call in. 917-830-4359. Argue with me about anything. We've been watching the debate tonight. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from some Trump supporters. Wednesday, The vice presidential debate is Wednesday. I will be live streaming. I'll have to take a look at the time. I usually do the Troll Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tonight it worked out. We did the normal show. Went straight into the debate. Who was trying to call in? Somebody was trying to call me. Come on, give me a call back. 917-830-4359. Was it you, Poop Boy? Were you the one trying to call me again? Thank you for being a fan. I really do like your hair, dude. You may be a poop boy, but you got some nice hair, motherfucker. Alright, since we've got a little bit of time, right before the debate, we watched the "Clap, You Stupid Bastards" clip that was going around the internet. Hold on, we got an...
I have no regret every time I'm with you all, and I mean this sincerely.
How would you like to help local businesses and get compensated very well, all without ever leaving?
Is the vote?
Okay, so what I've done is went and found the entire speech, and we're about 30-40 seconds before the "clap for that, you stupid bastards." Now he was just, you just heard him like talking about how it was sincere.
Where I go, I see warriors like all of you before me and behind me here.
I'm sorry if you can't hear it very well. I can't hear it very well. It's not very good audio.
Balkans 25 times, in and out of Iraq 26 times, in and out of Afghanistan about 10 or 12 times. And I have no regret every time I'm with you all. And I mean this sincerely.
I never regret every time I'm with you all. I mean that sincerely.
Can't see it. Can't see it in place. Don't get to fly in the mission with me. Don't understand. They don't fully understand the incredible sacrifices you make for our country.
They don't fully understand the incredible sacrifices you've made for our country. He says that to the troops.
And I want you to know, notwithstanding what you may hear about me.
Now you see him shift to where he's in like joking. He made his very serious speech. I mean this with all sincerity. Blah, blah, blah. Your sacrifice to our country. Shifts, and now he's joking Joe Biden.
I have incredibly good judgment. One, I married Jill.
See?
And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Let's clap for that.
So, what he's saying clap for is clap for this soldier I appointed. He's in joking mood, Joe Biden. And like, I'm not one to take up for Joe Biden, but this is clearly out of context. Are they clap? This dude looks like he's like, that was a little harsh. And then he's like, y'all are a dull bunch. He's just fucking joshing with him. Now, he is finished there, and he shifts back into serious Biden here. So this is like, that one little clip is what circulated on the internet. But I just played you the 30-45 seconds before it. Now, this 30-45 seconds after it.
Let's be slow here, man. Oh. You know, look, in full disclosure,
shift back
Johnson,
to serious.
She came to see me in 2008 and appointed her back in the day to the Senate. Now, the great privilege of nominating her to the Air Force Academy, and I'm so proud to see how her career has advanced. I also want to thank family here today. And we know you all step up here is pretty high. And you've got better things to do than come and see, feel, and be. But we never pass up an opportunity wherever we are around the world.
Hi, we're
fuck
OfferPad,
you.
the new way home.
But we never pass up an opportunity around the world. Acknowledge your sacrifice. Blah blah blah. Whatever the fuck he said. There you have it. I'm no fan of Joe fucking Biden by any stretch of the imagination. But that video was clearly taken out of context by stupid ass right wingers. And some people buy it because right wingers are morons. If you were playing the drinking game during the debate, you might have been a little let down that I didn't actually say that. And you took no shots during the debate, so hopefully you came up with something fun about Trump that you could take shots to. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Listen, I think you're onto something. I think there are two forms of Biden. Okay? You listening?
Yeah.
I think
What?
Here, there's a dimension shift. And that Joe Biden has come out of the dimension shift.
There's a
And
time
just like
dilation, is what you're saying.
Time dilation. So in his dimension, his son isn't a heroin addict. But in ours, he is. And he's trying to replace him. And what I'm thinking here.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold. Are you saying there's something bad about heroin addicts?
No, I'm a heroin addict. And I like heroin. And I think we should legalize this shit.
Yeah, we should. I'm
See?
with you.
Listen,
I've never
smart,
tried heroin.
but I
Will
don't
you
think
come over and bring me some heroin? That's like the one drug I've never tried.
Listen, now what we need to do is illegalize all drugs except heroin. Okay? And then I think we need to really discuss this dimension shift that Joe Biden is coming from. I think what's happened is that maybe at some point, Joe Biden and his infinite brain sent him to this universe for whatever reason. There's got to be a reason that Joe Biden's in this universe. You have to think about it.
Who has the infinite brain here? I thought you said Joe Biden had the infinite brain. I'm lost.
He does. Joe Biden does. That's why he's always so lost in it.
So Joe Biden has
Why
the
do you think
infinite
he
brain,
talks like
and he sent Joe Biden here.
Yes.
Is this some kind of trilogy, or not trilogy, like Trinity, like the Christian, like the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost?
Yes. Think about it. The Father, Joe Biden.
Oh, I'm thinking about it.
The Son, not Joe Biden, or not either of his sons. The Holy Ghost, neither of his sons. The Snake, you know who that is. It's Hunter and Bo.
Snake Plissken. Are you there? I thought he was onto something there. I was with him and he was talking about Snake and I was like, Snake Plissken? Escape from New York? Caller, I enjoyed that. I wish you talked longer. Why'd you run away? I wanted to hear what you had to say. Illuminati confirmed. What a fucking night. I bet this is Poop Boy. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on?
Listen, what that guy was talking about is right. The dimension is called C197. That is the dimension where the real Joe Biden we want exists. He exists in that dimension. Sonichu also exists. Not Snake Plissken. No. Sonichu. The electric hedgehog. Rosie Chu also exists in this dimension. Snake Plissken probably sucks pee-pee. I only watched Escape from New York, starring Snake Pee-Pee Plissken. I am here to speak the truth. Psychic Pebbles was just on, okay? That was the Psychic Pebbles. He was speaking the truth. Sonichu is real. Rosachu is real. Magic Chan predicted everything. Charlottesville, fucking coronavirus. Everything is real. Legalize heroin.
Everything is real. I agree with that. That is one of the most true statements I've ever heard in my life. Everything is real. Goddamn, thank you, caller. I'm putting that on a shirt. And I'm going to sell it at the freaking shop that you can go to right down below. Man, I want some of them too. Oh, I've got some pot. I'm not near high enough for this shit. But guys, it's been a fun night. I think this is going to do it for me. Do like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever the fuck on whatever platform you're on. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Okay. One more call. We'll take one more call. We'll take one. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Hello?
Hello. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm calling in from the Zoomer hotline. I wanted to add on to what that guy was saying before about the Sonichu. I just want to say that I think there's a plausible theory.
What? Did you say the Zoomer hotline?
Yeah, I'm from the Zoomer hotline.
I didn't know I divided them up by any delineation, but okay, go on.
Yeah, so I think that there could be like a solid and a liquid type of Joe Biden. Like, you know what? Like, I think the one that's here now is liquid, and then in another dimension, I think solid is in a virtual dimension, like in the Matrix, right? He's stuck. He's been transported into a training protocol where he's pretty much a supreme dictator.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you there.
And,
so if there's a solid and a liquid Joe Biden, is there a solidist Joe Biden? Because then that's the one that becomes president.
Yeah, so I think we need to rescue. Yeah, I think there is one. We need to rescue Solid Biden from the virtual machine.
But Solidus was the bad guy.
No, Solid's the good guy.
No. Solid was the good guy. Solidus was the bad guy in Metal Gear Solid 2. And Solidus.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Solid. I'm talking about Solid, not.
I'm talking about Solidus because in the canon, Solidus is the one that becomes president. Yeah, yes, Whitney, you have crossed over into another realm of reality. That is true. So anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
I think you need to make a Discord.
I do have a Discord. I'll make a server. I'll make one. Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, that's my segment.
Thanks. Love you guys. Great time. What about Gas Biden? I would say Jill has had enough of Gas Biden. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
What a thrill! I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I'll give my life, not for honor, but for you, Snake Eater.
Yeah, I love it. I've bonded with these people. I don't know who the fuck they are, but I like them. They're my friends. Please, Zoomers, follow, like, share, subscribe. I'll fucking make the Discord server. I'll put that in the description for next time. I promise. We're gonna be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll do it for tonight. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin.